Hey everyone, what we have today is an unboxing and overview of both the blue and pink models of the new 7th generation iPod Touch. Featuring a 4-inch screen as well as no Touch ID and no Face ID on the front nor back, we have the same similar design as the previous generation. Funny story, this was actually my first iOS device back in high school, and it's really what got me into the world of Apple and the world of jailbreaking. This iPod Touch features an A10 processor which offers iPhone 7 and 7 Plus level performance, as well as 1GB of RAM, an 8-megapixel rear camera, and a 1.2 megapixel front-facing camera for now group FaceTime and taking your selfies. Setting the iPod aside for a moment, we can see that we have Apple's standard instructional pamphlet, as well as Apple's standard earpods and USB to Lightning cable. We perform the same procedure on the blue iPod Touch and get all of the packaging out of the way. And oh boy, does the lighting in this video really not do the quality and finish of the backs of the iPod Touches justice. And here are both iPods and their fully unboxed glory. Wow, those backs are really something. We can see that nothing has really changed externally from the previous generation. So we have the same headphone jack and lightning port on the bottom, the same volume buttons on the left-hand side, and a power button on the top with nothing on the right. Powering the devices on, let's quickly go through the setup process, and then we'll go into typing on the iPod Touch's keyboard and size comparisons. So now that we have both devices set up and activated, let's begin by covering all of the features of the new iPod Touches. This is possibly Apple's last iPod, since the iPod has even been removed from Apple's website. Compared to today's iOS devices, all of the icons appear a little bit too crowded on the small 4-inch screen. This is a perfect device for taking quick pictures on the go, and the camera looks pretty decent. The iPod Touch now supports group FaceTime for FaceTiming with friends and loved ones on the go. Here we can see that the newest generation AirPods fully work with the new iPod Touches. Next, we have a size comparison. I can see that, in my hand, this device looks absolutely minuscule. Let's go ahead and pull in an iPhone 7 Plus for comparison. Moving on, the new iPod Touches, thanks to the A10 processor, now support ARKit and virtual reality, and while we set that up, let's go ahead and measure the size of an iPod Touch using its own ARKit. Seems to work pretty well to me. Here, you can see me testing the keyboard on the smaller 4-inch screen, and compared to an iPhone XS Max, the typing experience is really something else. Thanks to Apple's proprietary keyboard algorithms, however, you can see that the second attempt is much more accurate in terms of capturing my key presses. Now let's move on to everyone's favorite benchmark, running games on the smaller device. Let's get the quick setup process out of the way. The perfect default character for the kids to play around with. Something I observed during the setup process is that most of the text appears very small, and most of the icons that are clickable to set the game up are a little too small for this 4-inch device. Off the bat, we can see that while the iPod Touch is loading everything, we instantly have dropped frames, and the buttons are a little small on the screen, making for a decent but not stellar gaming experience on the A10 chip. Frames are definitely being dropped as everything is being set up and I'm moving around this 3D space. While not the best, this game is definitely playable, but I do not see how long into the future that the iPod Touch will continue supporting the newest games. Even at this point, I think it's better to stick to less hardware-intensive games, such as Solitaire and Candy Crush. But at $199, it's really worth asking if the A10 chip is worth it by today's standards. Last but not least, let's run a quick speed test, and I'll throw up on the screen a comparison using an iPhone XS Max. Apologies for the slightly blurry results on the left-hand side, but we can see that the Wi-Fi speeds are similar. And that's all for today's video. If you've enjoyed it, please be sure to leave a like and comment below. Will you be buying Apple's newest iPod Touch? What are your personal uses for the newest device? The music is provided by Ghostrifter Official, found on SoundCloud and YouTube. The soundtracks are called Hope, Morning Routine, and Subtle Break.